Hey, what's up? Like, totally time for 90210.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the 90210 show. My name is Mark. With me, as always, is my purring girlfriend, Carol. How you doing today, Carol?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. It's been a good week here. It is December 19th, 1997. That was an excellent purr that you gave. It sounded almost real.
Yeah, I wish I could do that.
Well, that was our cat, Buddy, making a special appearance.
He was rubbing himself right up on that microphone.
He's saying hi to you all and spreading his scent to you. Now you all belong to him. You're part of his pack.
There we go.
But speaking of belonging, we belong to a group of people that watch 90210.
Yes, we do.
And we have anointed ourselves the representatives of you all who watch 90210 to talk about it, seeing as we are the only people currently making tapes.
Right.
And releasing them to the
Because we're
public
cool like that.
for consumption. So, 90210, Carol. Season 7, episode the first of Season 7, Remember the Alamo.
I was not impressed with this episode.
There is no Alamo in this episode either.
Right.
It's talked about a little bit, but there is no Alamo.
That's true. So, this episode starts out with Brandon and Steve in
The
Texas.
dynamic duo. They're in San Antonio, Texas.
No, Hadley, right?
They're in Hadley, Texas.
Yeah.
Just outside of San Antonio.
Because he goes to Hadley House.
Yeah, Hadley House.
I honestly, when
Hartley
I first...
House.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. When I saw it, I thought of Hartley House.
It's in Chicago, right?
Oh, no, that's Hull House.
Hull House, yeah. What's Hartley House?
Okay. Isn't that the name of that show that Steve's mom was in?
Yes! You're right. That's what
Okay.
it is. Yeah.
But anyway, Brandon and Steve went on Brandon and Susan's trip.
Yeah, well, Steve went to the Olympics in Georgia and met up with Brandon there, I guess.
Right.
And is doing the last leg of the trip with him.
So I guess he was doing most of it on his own.
Yeah,
But
he does some on his own, and they had to get a, hey, the Olympics were in Atlanta reference. They didn't mention anything about the Olympic bombing, but remember the park bombing? We talked about that.
yeah.
They got the wrong guy.
Yeah. That was sad.
Poor Richard Jewell.
But Brandon's car
Yes, the Mustang.
has broken down
Mustang.
in this tiny little town.
Hatley.
And there's only like one mechanic shop.
It's Lee. It's Lee's mechanic shop.
And Lee tells him that he will have that car fixed this afternoon.
That's
But his son, I think, right?
Son and his son's friend.
Yeah.
The two people from A Time to Kill.
Right?
The one that rape and almost murder that little girl.
Oh, Jesus, why?
They're his son and friend.
Basically. Yeah, they're like, we were, gonna fix this car, and they're like all pissed off just to begin with.
Oh, you two from California? You two from California?
That's where all the
the fruits and nuts are from.
which one are you?
Yeah, that reminds me of the nothing there but steers and queers.
Oh, jeez.
Which one are you?
So, yeah.
I'm so sorry to all of our southern listeners. It's in a horribly stereotyping episode.
It is. And like you mentioned when we were watching it, they're acting like it's like the 60s or something.
This stinks of some northern liberals that have never been to a small town in Texas that are like, this is what it's like in a small town in Texas. It's fucking infuriating, that mindset.
Yeah. So they tell, like, Steve decides, because he misses Claire so much, that he's going to hop on this bus that's heading towards LA. and surprise her. Oh, Houston, whatever.
Houston to then get...
on an airport.
To get on an airport, that's right. He's going to climb to the top of the airport and scream, Suzanne!
Susan.
Isn't that her name? Oh, sorry.
Claire.
Claire! It doesn't scream as well.
It does not.
She scream Claire. But yeah, like he's fucking King Kong or something like that.
Yeah, so he leaves Brandon alone.
Yep.
Who wanders into the library to, like, look up stuff about the Alamo. Like, I guess there's not a ton of options of things to do to entertain himself, but...
It's the dorkiest thing I've ever heard, though.
Yeah. And then he just starts, like, making eyes at this lady across the card catalog thing. I don't know how he even knew she worked there.
I don't know. She was holding cards, I guess, maybe?
Maybe, but, I mean, you could be holding cards because you want to go look for books.
That's true.
I mean, like, it seemed, like, really presumptuous that he just starts asking her questions. Like,
hey, you're black. You must work here.
Or, like, you know, when you're, like, walking around Meijer and you see somebody in a red shirt, you ask them, like, hey, you know where this is? And they're like, I don't work here. You know?
Right.
Yeah. Like that.
I've been there. I've worn red shirts at Meijer before. I know what it's like.
But, you know, they're obviously, like, making eyes at each other. And
there's the stereotypical, like, tight-lipped, old, well, not old, but like
older,
tight-lipped, middle-aged, racist white woman in the corner, librarian. The one that didn't go with Henry Hill in A Music Man.
Oh.
It was Marion's replacements.
Right.
The library. She's all like,
Yeah, so this lady sits down with Brandon after, like, getting him the books and stuff he wanted.
The black lady.
Yeah.
Whose name turns out to be Mariah.
And, you know, they're having a nice conversation, and this lady walks over, the mean librarian, and she's like, you're supposed to be, you know, doing some other thing, like shelving books or whatever. Yeah. And she's like, he had questions. This is part of my job, too. And she's like, no, it's not. And then she's like, I'm just going to quit.
Yeah, they get into this argument, and she's like, you know what? Shove this job, I quit. And Brandon's like, she didn't mean that.
Yeah, it was the stupidest thing. Like, what the hell, Brandon? He's such a, like, he wants to be Superman and save everybody all the time.
He has a savior, like, complex.
So he follows her out of the library and then starts manhandling her in the street.
Yeah. It's like grabbing her wrist and everything. And she's like, yeah, I don't usually go out with strangers. Sorry.
Yeah, and he's like, wait, let me buy you lunch, please.
My name's Brandon Walsh.
Yeah.
I almost dated a black woman. Her dad owned a popcorn company. She later went on to be, what's her name? Vivica A. Fox.
Right. But yeah, so they go have lunch. I don't think anything terrible happened at lunch.
No, we didn't see lunch, so.
Yeah. But when they go to check on his car, those two, assholes who were giving Brandon a hard time about being from L.A., they really freak out because he walks up with a black girl.
Yeah. They couldn't have made them look more stereotypical.
No, it was bad.
The one was in overalls with a baseball cap and just had that perpetual, like, where his neck's really stretched out far and he's got that posture, like a chest sunken in, neck out, like, oh, he's rolling around with one of those Negroes, you know. And then the other guy just perpetually has dirt all over his face.
They're so dirty. But I mean,
and he was scrunching his neck up like he had no neck, like really pulling his head in like a turtle.
The dirt thing, though, you got to be able to excuse because mechanics are generally pretty dirty.
I guess, but I mean, it was a real, like, cooter situation from the Dukes of Hazzard.
Right.
They really leaned hard into it.
Yeah, it was no good.
It's like if you asked one of those artists at the beach to do a caricature of some Southern people.
Yeah, exactly. But yes, they make it clear that they're not going to be hurrying on his car at all.
They use the word coon
twice. Yeah, it's
awful.
Yeah, really bad. So he's stuck here overnight waiting for his car that was supposed to be fixed that afternoon.
Yep.
And instead of like finding a hotel or whatever, she invites him to her house for dinner.
Yep.
which, like,
For fried
scandalous. Yeah. Yeah, this episode is just full of stereotypes. But I mean, like, scandalous. Like, this town supposedly has some big problem with interracial couples, and she's just like, hey, come hang out at my house. Like, they're lucky they didn't, have more problems, I guess.
No shit. Like, I expected a cross to be burning on her lawn or something like that. She mentions that she believes in angels and wants to write a book about angels. And Brandon's like, oh, that's cool. I'm not sure, I'm not sure about angels existing or whatever. Only angels I know are the California angels. And I realized why they had to get Steve out of this storyline. Because if Steve had been there at the library, when she said that, Steve would have been like, yes, I saw angels.
Right?
They made a fucking garbage truck phase through a school bus.
Oh my God.
How every episode is not, every storyline with Steve, he should be working this into conversation somehow about the time that he saw this thing that could not possibly have happened.
I'm sure by this time he has convinced himself that it didn't happen, that he
really
imagined it. It
bothers me that they never addressed this. He had to have witnessed it.
You know what? People go through weird things and then they just move on. Like, for example...
The angel should have just erased his memory.
For example, when I said I wish that the TV would just turn on, and it did. Like, that should be... There's the proof that, spirits exist and whatever.
That actually happened?
Yeah.
Wow.
And, yeah, I don't think about that every single day of my life. I don't run around telling people all the time,
When you were talking about, like, whatever, like, regrets or whatever, I thought you were going to say... like when I said yes when you asked me out on a date for the first time.
My goodness.
I thought that's what you were going to say to me.
No, never. Anyway.
Yes.
So instead of just staying in, which seems like would have been the smart thing to do.
Yeah. She's like, hey, do you want to go out in this racist town?
Yeah, she takes him to the nightclub where he's now the only white dude there.
And we have to both sides this thing.
Right.
Both sides must be racist.
So she has an ex-boyfriend who comes over all pissed off, like, what are you doing with this dude?
Yeah, and in stereotypical fashion, he believes that she's still his. Mm-hmm. He still owns her.
So, yeah, I mean, whatever. That's the whole storyline. This is most of the episode.
Yeah.
And it's not...
interesting or funny.
Yeah.
Or fun.
And it's not going to have any kind of big impact on future stories or anything.
They do that a lot with the first couple episodes of new seasons, I've learned, is because they do so many episodes and they come back still kind of in the summer, they do this a lot where they'll have like a couple episodes of like, hey, we got to fill some time before school starts again and we can really get them into the storylines that they're gonna do for the rest of the season,
right?
Because it does seem like they have some stuff that goes season to season, but mostly it seems like they build season long story arcs for. I mean, obviously there's some just one off episodes of like things that just happen to a character or whatever for one episode, but it seems like the storylines that they do build soap opera fashion, they're doing it through one season, and we sort of get conclusions at the end of each season.
Yeah. So he stays the night at her house on the couch, and in the morning she's like, hey, your car's almost ready, and
Get the fuck out!
Yeah, get the fuck out, and then I'm going to hop on a bus and go to New York, because that's something I mentioned I wanted to do briefly at some point.
Even without your penis inside me, Brandon, just your presence in my house for one night finally gave me the courage to follow my dreams. You have saved me from this racist town. Thank you, Brandon. Fucking angel of Beverly Hills. And
then she's never heard from again because she joins the pile of bodies
exactly
in the desert.
He finds her on the bus. He follows her to St. Louis and makes sure that she never escapes.
Yes.
And all it took was one kiss, too. They didn't even date. He just kissed her once. He saw the racist staring at him. And this was weird, too. Because he didn't kiss her to be for himself. He didn't kiss her for her. He wasn't like, hey, I just feel very romantic. He saw the racist, and he was like, it was a fucking performance piece.
He was just like, you know what? Fuck you.
Yeah.
I mean, he was.
You don't like this stuff? Let me show you.
It was like he was like making eye contact with them. It was not good.
Yeah. He was kissing her and looking over at them the whole time. He started rubbing his body.
Oh, goodness. But he had already gotten his car back. Otherwise, I think he probably wouldn't have been so brave.
Right. And he gets into his fucking Mustang, his Stang.
And drives off.
Drives off to Beverly Hills, California. He always seems to me, and that's the thing, when they put Brandon in episodes like this where he's fighting some sort of racism, it always, like, I picture him so much in the 50s.
Yeah.
Like he looks like a 50s, like a James Dean kind of 50s dude. And he was in an episode of Quantum Leap where it was the 50s, and he was one of those guys. He was the bully in that one, though. But the haircut, the sunglasses, a lot of times the way he dresses with the polos, that just really reminds me of that time period. And I think that's conscious. I think they make him up like that. Because he's an avatar for one of the writers who was a teenager in the 50s.
And then, so Steve had, gone to go see Claire.
Well, he went to the airport to try to go see Claire.
And it's ridiculous because he does. He goes back to Beverly Hills. He makes it to Beverly Hills.
That's right. He does get back to Beverly Hills.
Only to find, he's in the shower, by the way, and Valerie comes in the house.
Valerie's been talking all episode about how lonely she is, and it's just like, I'm here all alone, and
everybody else is happy.
I've got to smoke pot because I'm so alone and everything, and there's no way I could find any friends or a boyfriend because I'm only a fucking attractive rich person. And Steve's in the shower. She's like, Steve, and she bursts into the bathroom, like fucking rips the shower curtain open. She takes a Polaroid camera out and starts taking pictures of him. I'll need this for later, Steve.
It was very bizarre, though.
Yeah, it was weird. It was way too familiar.
And he's just like, hey, Valerie, good to see you.
What's up? Oh, no. I'm like, what's going on with Claire? Oh, Claire's gone. She went to go see you in the Alamo. Oh, no. And then, like, we get a shot of him, and he's using the towel to just barely cover his cock and everything. He's like, I'm going to need you to take me to the airport.
Yeah, so, like, rich people who money means nothing to, he's just like, I'll just fly back.
Yep.
So Claire...
What's another $120 spent on a plane ticket?
Right. So Claire's at the airport with the Alamo, whatever.
It's 1,200 miles from Palm Springs to Texas.
Is it?
It's a Dean Martin song.
Oh.
It's 1,200 miles from Palm Springs to Texas, but tonight is right next door.
Alrighty.
I hadn't sang this episode, so...
Thank you.
Have to make it tough on the people. Find the episode I don't sing in.
Good luck. So Claire has gone and she can't find Steve. That's all we know is that she called somebody and said, I'm having trouble finding Steve.
Kelly.
How did she ever think she was going to find Steve? Like,
she's going to go to the Alamo.
Just go to the Alamo and find him.
Just troll the Alamo.
So now she's just like, okay, I guess I'm going to come home because I can't find him. She doesn't even know that he's not there.
Right.
The whole thing's just stupid.
Yep.
But he is now flown back. And at this airport, there's like all the planes are grounded for weather or whatever.
Wind shear, they call it. It's the easiest thing for them to be like, this is a bullshit reason to land, they'll ground all the planes. We need the planes all grounded. It's the summer. There's no and it's not a lightning storm or anything. That it's daytime. We have to film this in the daytime. Wind shear.
There you go. So off and on throughout the episode, we're just seeing them like missing each other in the airport. It's stupid.
It's one of those. Yeah, they're both at the same payphone bank.
Yeah,
and all that stuff. They one looks in one direction and the other looks in another direction. They're out of focus in the background or whatever.
But eventually, at the end of the episode, Steve sees her and calls out, Claire. And then there's the romantic slow motion running to each other.
This was the best part of the episode.
It was pretty fucking funny. Steve's
because
like,
it's self-aware.
Yeah, Steve's like frolicking towards her, like,
oh, it's hilarious.
Humping over.
Slow motion, and he's doing like it's like OJ, may he rest in peace. I mean, his celebrity. He's obviously he's alive, but the celebrity OJ, may he rest in peace. But it's like OJ in the Hertz commercial, but slow motion, where he's like, and like jumping over bags and stuff like that. And Claire's all, oh, Steve, and running towards him and everything. I wanted to. She does kind of like get in between two people to like run towards him. I really wanted them to go over the top and have her just like a kid's just walking up and her just shove the kid to the ground and stuff while she's running over.
That would have been funny.
Like a Saturday Night Live skit. It would have been much funnier.
Before she left, she commented that she had gone and visited some friends in Switzerland while Steve was at the Olympics.
Yeah, she was going to clear out some bank accounts there from
right.
money her dad swindled.
And she's like, they're married already. And somebody's like, oh,
they're
well,
like
you know.
21.
Right. She's like, European women mature faster than we do. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't understand that.
And she's like, well,
because they can drink when they're 10.
She's like, well, if that's what freedom is, forget it, or whatever, because they're married, or maturity, because they're married. So, like, if Steve proposes to her, which I feel like may happen soon, is she going to be like, no, I'm too young, I'm not.
Yeah.
They annoy me.
I haven't fucked my last prince, Steve. I'm sorry.
Right?
But they get together, and she's like, I want to go to a hotel room. I thought she was going to rip her dress off. It really looked like she made a move, like she was going to do that.
Yeah, it was
like
bad.
the actress didn't realize where she was anymore. And yeah, she's like, let's go to a hotel room. And Steve goes, it's dress up day.
What the hell does that mean?
I don't know. I don't want any insights into their fucking private lives.
Well, I mean, you know that they use props and stuff, but
apparently.
No, I mean, like,
Claire's always been into that.
Yeah. But it's like you haven't seen each other in months. You shouldn't need anything.
Yeah, agreed.
So that's...
If you need, like, accoutrement when you're 20 years old, it's no good. What are you going to need when you're 40?
Right? So that's pretty much their whole storyline is they're off, enjoying each other
Banging
again.
now, yeah.
Kelly and Valerie...
Yeah.
They're just like sniping at each other all the
They
time.
hate each other.
It's annoying.
It's enough now. Like, just become friends. Or just fucking get over it, Kelly and Valerie.
Like, Kelly asks, oh, how are you, Valerie? And she's like, do you care? You haven't bothered to ask all summer.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you're not friends.
I'm sorry, Valerie. I couldn't see you through the bong cloud.
And then she's like, they ask about, like, if she's dating somebody, and she's like, I'm just waiting for your next guy so I can steal him or something like that.
They ask about the FBI agent, and she said he got transferred to Miami and long distance didn't work, and I said, well, the test audience said no to that guy.
Right.
So,
but they found her a new one.
Yes, they did. Weird. They really, father figure types, they are just throwing at her.
So apparently the club is not doing well, and she needs money to be able to
Nat owns half this club too.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like it's his ass on the line too, kind of.
But she wants to do some kind of like revamping of the club to try to get more business. So she needs a loan. So she goes to some finance dude that Jim sends her to.
She needs like help with finance.
Yeah,
and Jim sets her up. Off screen, of course, but sets her up with some CPA at his old firm so they can reuse the old set. It's Jim's office.
Right.
And the dude's like, hey, I didn't, like Jim told me that you needed help. He didn't tell me you were so young and beautiful. And it's like, well, fucking Jim's supposed to be like, oh my God, you're going to want to fuck her. and she's like, oh, okay. He's like, can we go on first name basis? Bayside.
I don't know that it all. I mean, like I realize that she likes it, and at the end of the episode, it seems like they're really hitting it off or whatever. But like, it just seemed very inappropriate for a business dealing.
And it was and immediately,
yeah,
like not even let's give it some time. Let's very subtly flirt and see if she likes me. And I'm an older guy. It was like right off the bat, and he's like, "Hey, maybe we can do first name basis, Valerie. Is that okay with you, Valerie?" He's doing it before she says okay. And she's like, "Yeah, sure, Ken." And he's like, "I prefer Kenny." And
Ken's Barbie's boyfriend.
yeah, he's like, Kenny is such a that's a very little kitty.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I prefer Kenny, and I prefer wearing a diaper and being shamed in the bedroom.
I could not call a dude in a business suit Kenny.
Kenny,
it's weird.
Kenny's the kid you give swirlies to. The fuck.
What else? Did anything else happen with Kelly in this episode? Well, yeah, she kind of is with Donna and David, so
yeah, we'll talk about her in that auspices.
Yeah.
But so essentially, the dude's like, "Hey, we can get you a loan or an SBA, which I think is a small business something, and it's some kind of grant. I think like you don't have to pay it back, but it's something for small businesses. Can't remember what the A stands for, but anyway, so allotment or something like that. I think that's what a small business allotment or small business allowance or something like that. But anyway, so he's like, we might be able to get you the money that you need and everything. She's like, great, that's awesome. And he's like, hey, maybe we'll have sex. I don't know. We'll see what the audience says. And she's like, I'm here for it because I'm lonely and smoking pot.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna fuck.
In real life.
But Donna and David are continuing their music career.
Yes.
And David has turned into a giant douchebag.
Speaking of kitty stuff, they're on the they're on the beach at night. And did I see this right? They're on the beach at night shooting a music video. Are there giant blocks? Like giant letter blocks? Like kids' letter blocks behind them? That's what it seemed like.
I don't know. I don't remember.
I think it was like, the A, B, C blocks. I think that's what was set up.
Huh.
Yeah, it was fucking weird.
I don't know. The whole video they were filming was weird. Like, the guy was dancing with people in, like, weird monster costumes. Yeah. And I don't know. I didn't like any of it.
The band was weird. It was a made-up band.
The song wasn't even good.
Bad Cow.
And the singer's name was Taz.
Is that like when you get a burger that tastes not good? Bad Cow.
Yuck. Mm-hmm. So, but David's all stressed out, and he thinks that, like, they're going to, like, lose, I don't know, the label or whatever they're working for.
Yeah.
Which he's kind of right. It's happening. I mean, their direct boss ends up getting fired.
Correct.
So they're like, what's going to happen to us when our contract's up? Well, duh.
Yeah, our contract's up for review in 2 weeks. In 2 episodes.
And this guy had sent his secretary to tell them this. Like, she's like, where's the food? Like, she's out of a job, too.
Right.
Like, they're very selfish.
Yeah, it is weird.
But, like, it starts out, like, David's all stressed, and Donna's, like, nibbling on his ear and trying to be all nice and flirty and sweet, and he's just, like, basically, like, stop touching me. Like, that.
Get the fuck off me.
I don't like him. I don't like this. Like, every guy she's with treats her like shit. What is up with that?
Yeah, I don't like it either. Like, it's insidious. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it's because she's not having sex with them, if that's what it's trying to say. Because if so, it's taking... I mean, it's up to everyone's individual decision if they want to wait before they're married or not. There's many of us that don't wait until they're married. And there are certain people, and I'm sure there are some in the audience, who are virgins and who want to wait till they get married. There are some people watching the show, maybe even listening to us, that's true for. So having her as a representative of people that want to wait till they're married, that's cool. But like having every dude that she's with treat her like shit, it's kind of like insulting to people that want to wait till they get married.
Yeah, it's definitely not like an endorsement for that lifestyle choice.
No, so it's like, why are you continuing down this road with this character if you want to make it seem just bad? Like, it just portray it in more positive of a light.
Right?
It's really weird.
But so Donna's like trying to be understanding and sweet about it. I wouldn't be. I would tell him to go fuck himself.
Yeah, he's being a complete asshole.
Yes. And at one point, like, this Taz dude, the main singer, like, he needed a nap. Yeah. So she takes him back to her house and lets him sleep in her bed, which is weird.
Taz walks up to her and goes,
But I mean, like, doesn't he have, like, a trailer or a motel room or something? Like, why does he have to go sleep in her bed? It's weird.
He should.
And, like, why would David suggest that? That seems, like, inappropriate. Like, hey, go sleep in my girlfriend's bed.
Yeah, I mean, like, we've obviously never heard of the band because it doesn't exist. But he's in a band that's big enough to be having a music video made, presumably to air on MTV or VH1 or whatever. So you would think that they'd be famous enough to have their own trailer or hotel room.
But whatever. He gets up and he sees Kelly and he's like, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful. I feel like I know you from somewhere.
Yeah, I know you. I recognize you. I always recognize a face or tits.
Or other body parts,
That's what he says.
So, like, Donna brings Kelly back to the shoot just to get him to go back to the shoot because all he wants to do is talk to Kelly.
But he says before... He's like, oh, I know. 17 magazine, April 1994.
Yeah, he recognized her from
I jacked off so many times to that cover. It comes off so creepy.
It is. It's very creepy. But Kelly seems flattered and into it, honestly.
I guess.
But yeah, so then David yells at Donna for bringing Kelly. He's like, look, she's distracting him. Because in the middle of filming the video, the guy's just like, Kelly, and runs off the video. Mm-hmm. That's not anybody's fault but that crazy douchebag.
Yeah, agreed.
But, I don't know. The whole thing's bad. And when they're... Shut up.
Are you referring to our episode? Or... the series, their relationship,
all of it.
My Tasmanian devil joke. Yeah, go ahead. Everything's
okay. Bad. So, yeah, when they're like done filming, this guy has what were they twins?
Yeah, I don't know. Two blonde women that looked very similar anyway.
Yeah, and they're like hanging on him and stuff, and he's like, "Oh, Kelly, let's hang out." And she blows him off. Like, he's willing to blow off two girls.
Yeah.
To go hang out with her. She's single.
Yep.
He's a rock star.
Yep.
She's just like, "No, I'm doing a hospice internship tomorrow, so forget you."
Yeah, I'm going to work with AIDS.
Yeah, and that was a definite turn off. He's just like, "Oh, okay, bye-bye."
He's like, "Wait, I'm in the music industry." AIDS is a problem for us.
So, and then like Valerie insults Kelly about that too.
Yeah, what did she say?
Something about her being a martyr or something.
Oh yeah, because she's like, really, you're gonna go work with AIDS patients instead of hang out with this rocker? Rocker sounds more fun or whatever. And she's like, well, I want to help. And she's like, yeah, I guess you're in your fucking martyr phase or whatever.
Yeah, man, they're bitches to each other.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and then Donna and David get into a big fight because
David wants to go to the studio. He's like, we need to go and hang out at the studio and find out what's happening.
There are people we need to talk to.
What are you going to just like fucking skulk around the offices?
And Donna's like, we've been working for 12 weeks straight. If that's true, geez, no wonder he's in a bad mood. Mm-hmm. And he's like, you need to focus on our career, because she's like, I just want to go like do the laundry and just sit and watch the show and
watch this fashion thing my dad taped for me,
like whatever. So she's like, look, if this is how you're going to be, I don't want to be in a partnership with you. And they basically break up.
It seems like it. They're not. I don't know if they're officially broken up.
No, it's just another one of those fights that seems like it. I'm sure. Like this show always makes it seem like people are breaking up when they're not.
But yeah, David's been a dick, and David's like been the nicest guy for so long, and now they're together, and he's a dick again, and I don't like it.
I don't like it either. And like seriously, if you can't go without sex, and you know you can't go without sex without turning into an asshole, just like marry her.
But he wasn't having sex before this. I mean, he had sex a couple times. He had sex with those two women named Mary,
Right.
But the weirdest threesome ever because they have the same names. Like I don't know, but. Other than that, like it's like he wasn't actively dating anyone. We didn't see him with anybody.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I don't like what they're doing with his character now.
I don't either. I hope they shape things up soon.
But I think that was basically it.
Yeah, that's the episode.
All right. So if you want to write us, you can write us at latefee1994@AOL.com.
Yes.
Check out our website at www.retrolatefee.com.
Lots of fun stuff there.
Share the tapes with your friends.
Yeah, help us out. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.